Okay. So your position is everything dictates everything.
What? I don't know what that means.
So you're going to play dumb?
Well, I don't understand the question.
Is that you most certainly understood it? Is this your little game, you little sleazy, little deceptive person?
So could you ask the question again?
We'll go over it again. You can't possibly, please. Okay, I'll repeat it again. But you see, you're playing the obtuse game. I don't understand what you mean. You are a regular debater.
What's the question?
I asked you what it that instituted and secured all instances of what is, can be, and cannot be. In other words, everything. What takes everything? And you said reality. Remember?
Yeah, that is all things.
That's the same thing as saying everything dictates everything.
Yes, that's because it does. I'm not sure.
Good. How is that informative?
Your question is a tautology. It doesn't need to be informative. So you're asking like,
no, sir. How is that? Hey, fake it till you make it, T-Jump. Being obtuse and fake it till you make it. Being purposely obtuse and being evasive is just going to embarrass you. Your position is it's everything. First of all, your first problem is, how is that informative?
It doesn't need to be, because your question has no content. So if you're asking,
is your statement?
I'm trying to answer. You
know what? You are one of the most. No, you're not. You say, "Oh, it doesn't have to be." Is your statement dictates everything? Is that informative?
That everything dictates everything. If your question is not a question that requires any informative content, then it answers the question perfectly. So if your question is what instantiates
the question that I ask? You see, this is what you accept. You know what? This is what pisses me off more than anything about you. You just do not overtalk me.
Well, I'm trying to answer
me off about you and other. Do not overtalk me, or I will server meet you. I will resume. This is what pisses me off about you. You ignore what is being put to you, and then you give mini monologues. Now, your statement is everything dictates everything. Now, is that declaration informative?
I've already answered that. It's not, and it doesn't need to be, because your question has no content.
Okay, so when I ask you what dictates everything, your response is non-informative?
That's right, because your question has no content. So you need to ask.
Did everybody? No, sir. If I say to you, what dictates the leaf blowing in the wind?
The wind.
Is that problematic?
No. Is what problematic?
Now, if I say to you, what dictates the wind? Is that a problematic question for you?
If you ask what dictates the leaf and the wind, and if by leaf and wind is literally everything that exists in the universe, then the correct answer
no, listen to me. Focus. Are you autistic?
Kiddo,
I really suspect that you are.
Okay? Yes, I am. Now, actually,
listen,
I am autistic.
Don't call me. Okay, good. Then you need to work on working around this.
Well, I'm actually qualified in philosophy, so I'm telling you the correct answer.
Right now, okay. Now, I don't think you are. Listen, being argumentative is the fastest way. Listen to me, and I can explain to you that if you keep on over talking me again, I'm going to server mute you. I'm well accustomed to your bullshitting and your boulder dashing. That's why I'm so stringent with you. Now, I asked you a question. Overtalk me again, and you'll be playing Death by Mod, because I know you don't want to have a mono discussion where you have to be intrusive and going off into lecture mode. Now, I asked you a simple question. It's all individual instances and the entire set thereof. Is it a legitimate question to what dictates a leaf blowing in the wind? Is that a reasonable question?
You were a bitch ass motherfucker. Okay. You need to shut the fuck up and get a life.
That is not me.
Everybody in this chat room needs to get a life.
Now,
it's true.
You're not. Listen, what you're not going to do here is you're not going to do your usual shtick here. You're going to respond truthfully and transparently, and there's not going to be any shit lectures.
My answer was a yes there. Did you miss that?
All I need are simple answers.
My answer was a yes there.
Reasonable question to say what. Okay. If listen, overtalk me again, and
I
you will
literally
be
answered
playing
your
death
question.
by mod.
Idiot.
Okay. All right. I didn't hear your answer.
Is yes. I said yes like 4 times. Holy shit.
Okay, good.
Literally
Good.
4.
Good.
Did
Now,
anybody else miss that?
I did not hear that. Okay. Given your prior behavior of being evasive, because I didn't hear you, I suspected that you were dodging as you usually do. So I'm glad you answered. Now, is it reasonable of me to say, why does 2 leaves blow in the wind? Is that reasonable?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. If I ask you what it is that dictates each and every discrete state, okay, or instance in the set of all things, is that a reasonable question?
No, because it's self-referring. It's tautology.
No. Why is it unreasonable to ask what dictates a plurality of events? Why is that unreasonable?
Because if you're talking about all events and you're asking what dictates all events, that would entail an event outside of the set of all events. Wait, let me finish. Don't talk over me. Don't talk over me. So if you're talking about a set of all events and you're asking what dictates that set of all events, you would need an external event to that set, which you can't have. It's a meaningless question.
No, it's not meaningless because it could be self-referential.
That's my answer.
Do you know what?
Yes, I know what that means, and I agree. I agree.
So
with you
are you invoking
remember,
the aseity of the set?
Sort of. Aseity isn't a real property, but
no.
Say,
okay, aseity means. You know what?
Let me finish.
My patience is going to run out with you. You're not going to do your normal bullshit.
Me. I'm not interrupting you.
Okay, all right. So he does it again. Okay, we're done. Okay. One of the biggest bullshitters on YouTube and Discord I have ever heard. This is why I don't have patience for him. Okay.
Guys on YouTube.
When I ask, you'll notice that originally when I first asked him, he didn't come up with this shtick that it's like some malfunction. Okay. Now he's playing a game. Okay. If I say to you, what is it that dictates God? Okay. I would say, well, there is nothing that externally dictates God. What dictates God is his own internal intrinsic nature. He possesses aseity. Rather, God is self-contained rather than he's derivative. So when I ask about the pluralities of things, all right. Hey, welcome to my ban list. Okay. Now, I would have exercised vastly more patience with fake it till you make it T-Jump, but because he has a bullshitting and just simply being verbose and he's pretending like he's debating and he's not, there's no point in going on any further, okay? Because I've been down this path with him. So
in other words, I crushed him. I literally answered his question and he was too stupid to actually understand it.
Each member of the set, the members of the set, okay? All the members of the set.
Darth,
he could just listen to me. When he says that everything dictates everything, all he's just simply saying is everything is characteristically say, meaning it possesses aseity. Everything possesses aseity. Well, here's the problem. Abstractions cannot stand in causal relations. An abstraction is not the same thing as a natured entity, okay? So when we say everything, that's an abstraction of 2 or more concrete things or natured entities, okay? So then the question is if he says everything dictates everything, okay, how does an abstraction dictate all of the set of particulars, right? And so
everything is not an abstraction.
He really did not address, please don't interrupt. He really didn't address the issue of how it was informative. The second issue is he didn't address he could know this. Okay? Right? Now, we'll try it one more time since you refused to give it a mature, clear, non bullshitting answer. How could you possibly possibly know that universal declaration? How do you know that?
What universal declaration? Like the guy previously said, that's not an
Everything.
Everything isn't an abstraction,
Okay,
kiddo.
listen to me. Don't overtalk me.
You're overtalking me, kiddo.
How can you possibly know? Okay, all right. Definitely autistic. Maybe you can get some medication. No, it's not mod abuse because I with this clown before. Okay.
I mean, you won't let him get
when I refer to the
right?
autistic trains, the reason why I refer to it as autistic is that it is self-imposed, it is self-habitated, as opposed to the issue is that it's a neurological from birth. We're talking about his self-imposed tendencies. This is learned behavior. He doesn't know how to properly integrate. He just goes off in motor mouth mode. Okay. How he could possibly know this universal declaration? We'll give it one chance and that'll be it. How could you possibly know and instantiate? Second, be quiet. Now, how could you possibly instantiate with necessity this universal?
It's a logical necessity.
Do you have an answer to that?
Yes. Don't overtalk me.
No. Logic.
I'm trying to answer.
Logic
kiddo,
does not.
Kiddo,
Logic dictate concrete relations.
You got to let me finish the sentence before you respond, kiddo. If you're afraid of me destroying you, you want to interrupt. Like that's fine. But
how does? Okay. Do you know this? Do you know this universal state of affairs by virtue of pure reason, by induction through your perception, or a combination of the two?
By necessity.
And how do you know what's necessary?
Because if you're talking about a class of all existing things, and you want to know what instantiate is the entire class of all existing things, themselves is what instantiates it. So you know how you think that God is
necessary. I say.
What? I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean by that.
Say means that a thing possesses a aseity, meaning it is non-derivative and unconditionally non-dependent.
No, so aseity isn't a real
when you
property.
say something is necessary, are you saying that the plurality of all things are individually in and of themselves are necessary, or is there something that concretely unifies the particulars that's necessary?
Neither of those is
everything
necessary.
Is that an abstraction? Is everything a concrete one or an abstract one? No, I want to know is how do you know what is universal?
I have to answer. I heard your question. I need to answer, right? That's kind of.
Do you know it by pure? All I want to know is, do you know it by pure reason?
No, it's true by necessity. If you talk about a class of all reality.
No, sir. Listen,
kid. I just answered.
Focus. Do you
gotta
know
let me finish, kiddo.
universal
You gotta let me finish,
declaration?
Kiddo. You gotta let me finish the answer before you
listen,
interrupt.
Listen carefully. Don't call me
I've been listening
kiddo
to you the
because
whole
I'm
time.
old enough
I
to
need
be
a chance to answer the gibberish you're
All
saying.
right. Okay. You can fuck off. You want to call me kiddo, moron, you autistic punk. I'm old enough to be your father, kiddo. Okay. So we tried third time. Okay. And you won't give up your habitated autistic tendencies. This is why it's impossible to talk with you. Okay. He just gets in bullshit mode, and then when you try to parse it out, he just goes into further bullshit mode. So it's hopeless so far to talk with this guy. Everything dictates everything. Well, why? Because it's necessary. How do you know that? Logic. I mean, can anybody make sense of that?
Yeah, it seems intuitively obvious.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded to me like he was.
Hold on a second. Who said it's intuitively obvious?
I said that.
Who?
Me, Atheism Plus.
Okay. How is it intuitively
Your connection is kind of cutting out right now, Darth.
Hold on a second. Unfortunately, I'm out that you are a troll. Okay. Now
we can't hear you, dude.
This is a guy. Did you ever go by the name Debate God?
Darth, you're cutting up.
No.
Out, bro.
Okay, so you're lying. Okay, so guess what, everybody? The guy's a liar and he's a troll. Listen, I wrote a note down in your account.
Dog, we can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
No.
Yeah, these guys are trolling.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'll just. Okay,
No, we're not trolling. You're literally
your
you're
connection
cutting in
is
and out.
bad.
You're cutting.
Okay.
He's actually cutting out.
Parakeet, is that?
Oh god.
You are cutting out.
Cut out
You
right
are
there.
cutting
But
out.
Yeah, Darth, you're cutting out.
Out right now.
Okay, I want, if I see anybody talking on microphone, you're going to get server muted. Better yet, I'll ban you from the room. So Atheist Plus, okay?
Yes, hello.
If you lie to me, you're going to lose the opportunity to talk. Did you ever go by the name of Billy Conforto?
That is my name, yeah.
Do you ever use the name Debate God as your username?
Yes.
Okay, why did you say a minute ago that wasn't you?
I didn't hear you say that. But
Yeah, you did. You denied it when I asked you.
You were cutting out. It sounded like you said something else.
Now, listen. Just so when I drop the hammer, so everybody knows, a hard-hearted guy. I wrote a note to myself because he trolled before to such an extent to mute him on sight.
Oh, daddy.
So I'm not even following my own instructions to myself. But I want to do this to expose this white knighter for fake it till you make it, T-Jump.
I have Dawkins muted on my end, so I guess I won the debate.
Okay. How is it intuitively obvious that everything dictates everything?
Oh, well, the way things are intuitively obvious is you reflect on them and they seem
No. You're not addressing the question. Okay. Is the statement everything dictates everything not informative?
It's as informative as saying God dictates God.
Does an abstraction dictate all of the discrete members of the set?
It's not an abstraction.
Everything is not an abstraction?
Of course not.
Okay, is everything a set?
Yeah.
Is that an abstraction?
Well, a set is a way of talking about everything.
No. Okay, listen to me carefully. Is a set an abstraction where it is a mental conceptualization, a grouping of discrete particulars that are not concretely unified?
Everything is not a set.
Okay, and the question is everything, if I say everything that exists, okay, is a natured entity, is the term everything concrete or is an abstraction attempting to collectivize within my mind all concrete particulars? Okay.
Everything
is everything an abstraction?
Everything can include both concrete and abstract.
Listen to me.
So no, the answer is no.
I wrote to suit you on site.
Yo, I have some lip tart music.
Everything?
The answer is no.
Okay, so everything is not a set, an abstract set.
No.
Oh, okay. So then, what does everything concretely refer to? What one concrete thing does everything refer to?
Everything presumably refers to everything in reality, which could include both.
Okay, yeah, you're okay, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that answer.
Yeah. You must be T-Jump's homosexual boyfriend because you're mimicking him. This is pathetic here. Hey, shut up. Hey, shut up while I'm talking.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Okay, okay. Now, when I asked him the question, what dictates everything, and he said reality, right? He was pretending like this was an informative answer, but now he says it's not informative.
I literally said it wasn't the entire time.
What an
idiot.
This is how psychotic this guy is. Okay, everything dictates everything. Okay, so what do you mean?
God
you mean
dictates
that
God?
Okay, so here's the problem. When you say everything, okay, This is referring to an abstraction of two or more concrete particulars. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
So if we had 10 marbles, that was everything. Okay. Do all the 10 marbles dictate what marble number 4 and marble number 5? How is that informative? Why are you over talking me?
I'm trying to ask you a question and you will not ever answer.
Okay, make it quick, please.
Okay, so, like, who do you think you are? You're a big dickhead mother.
Yeah, bro. You
come on.
Oh,
That's all you got, dude?
Why are these people so
that's all they got.
belligerent?
That's lame, dude.
This is why it is impossible to talk to fake it till you make it, T-Jump. Because my second encounter, well, actually in the first one, but in the second encounter, he says the same thing. What dictates all discrete states of affairs? Well, everything does. So in other words, every single individual thing collectively, conceptually, dictates what each individual discrete thing is. How could he possibly know that all concrete discrete states of affairs, every individual one of them in conjunction with every other one, all dictate what each individual concrete discrete thing is?
That's not the claim.
Oh, like determinism.
This is no understanding. This has nothing to do with determinism. Now, how is that even formative? And how could he possibly know it? Well, he just bullshits. He goes, well, it's necessary of logic.
Let someone answer, maybe.
How does logic stand in causal relations?
It doesn't.
Explain that.
Well, actually, you asked him if he knows it by pure reason, and he said no, it's necessary. So he must know that it's necessary via experience, I guess, since it's not via reason.
Well, that's great.
So he's
by
experienced what's necessary.
Well, let me qualify that. He could say not by pure reason, but by a combination of reason and induction and experience. But I mean, this is how crazy this guy is. Okay, you cannot talk with him like a normal person, right? Because he goes off on these monologues, right?
Like 3 words.
When you say everything dictates, but you see my monologue. Gotcha. Thank you. Gotcha.
Can it be called a monologue if it's less than 5 words before he interrupts? I don't know.
I guess what we're going to have to do with the founders, they're going to have to extend the duration of mutes. Okay.
Oh wait, what happened?
How about you don't be a tyrant?
Be quiet. Okay.
Be a tyrant.
Hey, actual, go back to the woods with furries. Okay. Now I was saying. That's a joke. Okay.
Hey, Doc, I have a question.
Let's go back. Yeah. Listen, do I really need to type the command where everybody gets server muted? And then people only get, do you really want to ruin it for everybody?
No.
Everybody mute your microphone now.
Can we hear you dunk on T-Jump?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna. So it's impossible to carry a conversation. He's one of the worst of individuals I've ever talked to, next to that slob Skylar Friction.
Skylar, shout out to Skylar Friction.
Everything dictates everything. What's
philosophical genius. He has an epistemology.
And
any ontology.
Yeah. His epistemology works with any ontology. Did you guys ever have one? Did you ever hear that? His epistemology can work or derive from any ontology. Well, what about a world where all events are discrete and are acausal? They're just spontaneous, right? Where each and every event is just spontaneous and there's no correlativeness or connectiveness between anything. How do you have a viable working knowledge in such a world? Okay.
Hey, Darth, I've been reading Bonson lately. I just got in a couple minutes ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
How about a
Now,
world where there's where everything is completely static, where there is no events at all?
okay, what about a world where God is and he creates the world so that man really can't know anything? Would an epistemology work in that ontology? What about a world where God creates beings and agents and he of demons, Satan, deceive everybody and everything? Would epistemology work in that ontology? Do you guys see how warped fake it till you make it is? Now let's get back to what we're talking
Is that an
about
objection
here.
somehow? Is there an objection to any?
So,
Can
you explain your? You make it. I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay. Listen to me carefully. If you speak, don't announce your name to me so I can know who wants to address me, then you will not get to speak. Okay? All right?
This is Oberon. May I ask a question?
Yes, you may. Everyone else mute your microphone. Everyone else mute your microphone.
Diapers, my guy. Come on.
Okay.
He definitely wears
Okay.
diapers,
So now,
man.
okay. All right.
I only want a
Now I
clarification on the fake it till you make it. That's all. I'll mute.
Okay. Do we have any in here? Square, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
First left is somebody who has repeatedly engaged in harassment and stalking behavior on multiple days. I've asked him to stop it. He refused. I have muted him. Times. Okay. You need to take him to the woodshed. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll take care of him.
Wait, me? I didn't do anything.
Thank you. Not you, Oberon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. I want everyone to mute your microphone, except Oberon. If there's any mods in here, please server mute anyone who is an open mic. Go ahead, Oberon.
I was only asking for what the fake it till you make it term was about. That's all.
That's what T-Jumps does. He is a indefatigable bullshitter. Okay.
What's that?
Put that on my Twitter profile.
Indefatigable. Look it up.
It means he doesn't know.
It means unrelenting, non-stop. Okay.
Hey Darth, this is Nirvana. I was going to ask, is it okay if I invite Jason Lee Scott?
Jason Lee, who's Jason? Oh, okay. So you'd want to do that? Okay.
That's
right.
the actor
Hey, welcome.
who played the Green Ranger on Power Rangers.
Can somebody ask him how to spell interfatical, please?
It's going to be okay, Darth.
Okay, so what I'm going to have to do from now on, because the trolls are ruining it, I'm going to have to lock the room down. Okay, it's that simple, right? So, guys, another chance. If this goes on today, tomorrow, then from now on, I will lock the room down. Okay, and that way you're gonna have to flash in order to flash your headset icon to get an invite to speak. All right, you know what's interesting? This is what they do. This is what scumbags they are. Rather than, yeah, again. Okay. All right.
I do have an in good faith question.
All right. Okay. All right. Well,
I have an in good faith question.
It's going to be okay, Darth. It's going to be okay.
Shut your mouth. Okay. Synthetic.
It's going to be okay.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Now you are muted. Okay. Okay.
Hey Darth, it's Brando. Can I ask a question?
Okay, never mind.
No, I'm gonna lock the room.
Oh. Yikes. No, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so the command is not the command is not locking the room down, Square.
Is it? Because it's slow sometimes. Let's
Darth,
look.
I do have an in good faith question, if that's okay. How do you, in your apologetics, how do you approach?
You can be quiet. You can be quiet. Okay, Square. How long does it take? How long does it take to kick in?
Actually, you're right. I can see that there's some error with it. You're right. It's not working. I have to look at that.
So the pieces of garbage cockroaches. Okay. The room down. They won't stop.
We can give them a ban from your room.
Well, the problem is when I have a room this filled, if you could have some worthy moderators to come in here and kick their little asses and ban them for me from the room when they're caught. I'm trying to conduct conversations, rant, give my biased point of view people, and then at the same time I got there and I got to monitor what these assholes are doing. So if I get a sizable room, it would be really nice to have other moderators in here who could help me. That way I won't have to lie. I mean, I'm not complaining to you. It's not your fault. You've been very gracious with me, and I appreciate that. But it's just annoying that I have to sit there and moderate an entire room, okay? When I no other mods coming in here helping, okay?
Right.
Hey, Darth, it's Brando. Can I ask my question?
So is the command working? What's the deal? Okay, I typed it in.
Yeah, give it 5 seconds because I see that there was an error in the logs that I just fixed. But
by the way, I'm not complaining. It's just annoying with these little ballless little punks who don't know who their daddy is.
Try to run it now. I want to see if it works now. The d.dd. I think it should work now.
Darth, do you remember saying induction was always fallacious? Do you still stand by that, or do you think it's stupid now? Because it is really stupid.
Okay,
it's definitely not working.
Square. Okay, are you there, Square?
I think it is working actually.
Okay, Square.
Yeah.
Okay, I really enjoy what you guys have done for me so far. If you don't ban DE now, I'm leaving the server, okay? This is a guy who I've reported him before years ago. He's doing it again. He's violating the TOS. He's violating the terms of the service. Going to fucking go off the server. Okay? This is a guy who stalks on the internet, okay? He's got to go. He is violating the TOS and the terms of the server. He does it on every single platform. He needs to go now.
Darth, you're an asshole.
Good. Okay. Well, it's one at a time. Okay. Now let's see. Where's Oberon? He's not here. Okay. Well, I'll continue if anybody wants to.
I have.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Hey, Darth.
Well, yeah. Why are they not have muted mics? Okay. Okay, this list is too long for me to monitor. I'm going to need some help. Okay, so we can unmute one person at a time. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to unmute Parakeet because I trust him. Okay, if you want to ask a question, you're going to have to send me a DM and get into a queue. Okay. Okay, I'm waiting. I was attending to something. Okay. If you want to chat with me, you have to send me a DM.
Or a faggot.
King Square.
Did you catch his name?
No.
I'm sure that using that word is ban-worthy on this server.
Look, I think if I pack the room out to such an extent that we could have other mods, okay, who could help out and unmute one person at a time if they're flashing and they want to ask a question, okay, rather than me have to scan the whole room. Yeah.
I think that Arnold guy wants to get a shot.
Okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Arnold.
Hey, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you because I've been here for a while now, just trying to listen to you reason to all these atheists and agnostics, and I mean, to be honest, it's kind of like pulling teeth. You know, you try to reason and ask clear, concise questions, and they just don't want to do it. But I've been reading Bonson lately, reading about presuppositional apologetics, and his argument seems pretty sound. But I want to ask you, Darth, about Bonson. Do you think Greg Bonson had a big penis?
Called it.
Okay, what are you gonna do about this, Square? You gonna tolerate this?
Arnold?
I think if somebody does something like this, you should ban them from the server. Why should we put up with this? Okay.
I think this
is
is
questions that okay, he's gone.
A fool putting his foolishness on display.
People keep entering the room and they're not. What is it? Only muting people who are here presently?
So the way the command works is it'll mute everyone in the room, but if new people join the room afterwards, it won't mute them.
So do I have to retype the command?
I do have a serious question about your approach to apologetics. Do you differentiate between atheists and agnostics? And if so, like how so?
What's your username?
Mine?
Okay, hold on, Oberon.
Oberon, yeah. I mean, my question's in good faith. I'm not.
Oberon.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Oberon.
Oh, no, I was just curious about.
I'm not hearing.
Wait, can you hear me?
You were breaking up. You're breaking up.
Okay, am I clear now?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just curious if in your apologetics there's a difference between atheists or agnostics, or if they are the same. That's all I'm asking.
Well, the outward claim is different, but the internal content is the same. It's either going to be a direct or an indirect denial of God. Okay. Agnosticism is an implicit denial of God, not the individual is aware of it. We can take by what they do affirm entails that God doesn't exist perspective. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was always my struggle sort of with any sort of conversation about this was like, even I love Christopher Hitchens, like, and a lot of his oration, but I feel like he was a strong.
What? He wasn't a good debater. He was a good orator.
You're not wrong. he was a good debater, but not against presuppositionalists. You're not wrong.
Wait a minute. He said extraordinary evidence requires extraordinary claims. Do you agree?
Nice try. Nice try.
The switched around, yes. But that's what he said. But
you agree with him?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. But I don't agree with his anti-theist claims. I think he was a staunch.
That's fine.
You know what I mean?
That's fine. But you agree with the maxim: extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Is the God world an extraordinary claim?
Yes.
The Christian God, the Abrahamic God.
Hold on a second. Did I say that?
No, you didn't. No, that's what he was referencing.
When we're talking about God, okay, in these kinds of conversations, although I only defend the Christian God, but when I'm talking with other people, okay, we're starting with the concept of God as the creator, regardless of whatever flavor of God we're going to talk about later.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when I say the God world, I'm just simply saying what is eternal and unconditionally non-dependent that creates and sustains the world, the creator-creature distinction. We call that the God world. Now, do you believe that the statement extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence is applicable to that?
I don't know.
Well, then what does extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence referring to? Is it referring to Bigfoot?
I was under the understanding that it was the Abrahamic God that he was referring to.
It's referring to God.
Yes.
Any God concept.
Okay.
Right?
I have not ascribed myself to Chris Hitchens's. I did bring him up, and I said I like his oration.
Why are you? Do you accept extraordinary claims? Yes or no?
I think it's not in the way Chris Hitchens attributed it, I guess.
How did he attribute it? Did he attribute it to the God world? Did he communicate?
That's what I'm saying. I think he attributed it to the Abrahamic God.
No.
I could be wrong. Yeah.
No, he was an atheist.
I think he was an anti-theist. He hated gods. He hated. I'm not that.
Dude. Really?
I'm not. Yes, really. Like I'm not being.
No.
facetious.
He wasn't merely anti-Abrahamic gods. He was a standard atheist. He didn't believe that there was any God. Okay? So when he said extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, he was saying that to the God world. This is not debatable.
Okay.
Now, do you agree that if somebody puts forth the God world as being actual, that is an extraordinary claim? We should have resolved this 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
Do you believe that that's an extraordinary claim requiring extraordinary evidence?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is the not God world an extraordinary claim?
What is the claim in that claim? I'm sorry.
It's the negation of the God world.
And that would be to say...
Is the God world an extraordinary claim?
Yes.
Is God world an extraordinary claim?
If it is just the lack of the claim that is prior?
No, sir.
What?
The negation of the proposition is to a universal declaration. The God world is a universal declaration. Is the not God world a universal declaration?
With the first one, yeah, I guess.
Hold on a second. Have you ever taken any courses in higher education?
Too many.
Okay. Were you this obtuse with your professors?
Actually, no. I think that making a positive claim
have you recently fallen and hit your head?
I wasn't dropped as a kid, but I was thrown against a wall. I'm kidding. No, I'm not obtuse. Seriously, I'm not.
Okay, good. Then these questions are no-brainers. The negation of the proposition. If I make a universal declaration, and that's an extraordinary claim, and if I negate that, that too is a universal proposition.
Okay, there's no neutrality or substantial.
Sir, yeah. Focus.
Okay.
If you say God is that an extraordinary claim?
Absolutely.
If you say God is not, is that an extraordinary claim?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, now, do you hold to the not God world?
No, I do not.
Okay, Christopher Hitchens said that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Did he ever, in his polemic writings or oratory or debates, did he ever provide extraordinary evidence for his extraordinary claim of the not God world?
He did not.
No, he did not. So, like all
burn the proof fallacy.
No, that's what I wanted to talk with you about at the beginning of this. Was I admonish him for being such a staunch anti-theist rather than agnostic.
That's not what we're talking about.
Anti-theism.
Anti-theism has to do with hostility toward the proclamation and advocacy of God. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Chris asked.
No, he was both a and an anti-theist.
I see. Okay.
Anti-theism with your disposition of hostility toward the advocacy of God.
Okay.
Thing as denying existence of God. There are many atheists who are not anti-theists.
Okay? Like me. Or I consider myself agnostic, but regardless, I'm not rejecting the notion of God. Yeah.
Well, you most certainly are. Okay. If I say, okay, let me walk you through this.
Okay.
When we talk about God, we're talking about that which is eternal, a mind, and the creator of all things that are not himself, definitionally. So God is defined as the necessary singular precondition of all things that are not himself. Is that definition acceptable to you?
As real? No.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. As God, yes. Okay, yes, absolutely.
I'm just tell you that Darth Vader is a Sith Lord.
Yeah,
is that an acceptable definition?
No, I understand.
Good.
Absolutely.
So God is the creator of all things that are not himself, which means he's the necessary precondition of all things that are not himself.
Yes, correct.
So God by definition is necessary and the necessary precondition. Right?
Sure.
Definitionally.
Yeah.
Okay, now, if somebody comes along and says God is not necessary, do you understand that that is the equivalent of saying God doesn't exist?
Sure, absolutely.
Good. You invoke facts. Do you invoke facts without the necessity of referencing God?
You can define God differently. Totally logically possible. Doesn't need to be necessary.
Depends on the. Yeah, actually.
When you invoke facts, okay, good. So when you invoke facts, God is not necessary when you invoke facts, right?
Correct.
Right. Well, you have denied God, sir, because you were saying these facts exist stand alone, and God's not necessary.
That doesn't follow.
If you say God's not necessary, directly or indirectly, explicitly or implicitly, you have denied God. Whether you realize it or not.
Absolutely. You're exactly right.
Right. Well, we're talking about a minimal definition of God.
That's not exactly minimal, but sure. That is like a deistic view, right?
You're going to quibble over the concept of God as supreme being and creator as a
People
definition?
have been quibbling for centuries about the millennia about the definition of God, and I'm being extremely careful right now.
Correct.
Sir.
Correct.
Do you positively believe that there is a supreme being and creator of all things that are not himself that we call God? Do you believe in that?
I don't know.
Ask you what you know. I said, do you believe it?
I don't know.
I didn't ask you what you know. I asked you, do you believe it?
When I was baptized at 12, I did believe it.
Okay, okay.
Good
And
answer.
that's not a troll,
answer.
Darth. Come on.
being
I'm being
straight
serious
up,
with you.
Straight up legit. It's a
I
legit
don't
answer.
know.
Do you have a positive belief in God as defined?
No.
I didn't hear you.
Said no.
I await affirmation.
All right. No, my Wi-Fi's dropping out.
Or maybe the word is confirmation.
Okay,
I
all right.
await confirmation, whatever
Okay,
the
all
word
right.
is.
Okay, listen. Okay, so my Wi-Fi's back up.
Okay.
Do you positively believe that God as defined is? Do you positively believe that?
I don't know.
I didn't ask you if you know. Do you positively believe it?
What's the difference between belief and knowing,
I don't
Darth?
know is totally fine.
A knowledge is a term that we for beliefs for which we have great warrant and justification rather than lesser. Or for certain beliefs, Judaism, where there is no warrant or justification.
Sure.
Positive attitude. Do you have a positive attitude? All right, we're done. You're incapable of carrying on an adult conversation. Okay. If anyone wants to talk with me, send me a DM. Okay, or flash your icon. I'll scroll up and down. Let me just mute everybody. All right, I'm not flashing. So then I'll just continue with T, jump the shark, fake it till you. Okay. So where did we leave off? Okay. So he's the master of double talk, obfuscation, prevarication, and monologuing. So originally when I asked him the question, he was portending that this was an informative response. Now we tell us it's not an informative response. Okay. So he's giving me a non-informative answer to the question. But he nonetheless says is that does that mean the set of all discrete things collectively dictate each and every discrete thing? Or does it mean that each member within the set, it dictates itself in that they possess? Well, either way, and by the way, he would be better off with the rather than the former. But either way, how could he possibly know it through logic because it's necessary? How do you know that anything's necessary? Unless God is, and he creates a world, and he constructs the world to enable us to know that at least one or more things is necessary, or that he's necessary and everything derives from him. How could you, by simply a mere appeal to logic or abstraction, that something is necessary? This is why we call it fake it till you make it. Go ahead, Pseudo, were you flashing your microphone?
Yes. After now it has been stuck on deaf, and I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, your microphone's awful. Fix your microphone.
Okay, I will leave and rejoin.
I have a question.
Okay, so yeah. Hold on a second. So Universe said to me, "What do you mean by a natured entity?" Well, I'm talking about a concrete object as opposed to an abstract object. Okay, that the natured entity is a concrete object with one or more attributes. Okay, as opposed to a abstraction. On the wrong screen here. Looking for some atheists to have not low testosterone to explain why it's reasonable RAM. Okay. All right. If you want to talk, send me a DM or flash your icon on the screen. Look at that. 76 people in here. Okay. Well, I should count that number high because we have a couple of people that are on the ban list because they're scumbags and they're just so blatantly deceitful. Okay. Okay, so getting back to Mr. Fake It Till You Make It. How could he possibly know what's necessary? How could you know that through logic? Where do you get this universe from?
Logic describes reality. That's how. Not super complicated.
Watch. Let's try this one more time. We'll show you what a clown we're dealing with. Mr. Fake It Till You Make It, do you still stand that your epistemology can work within and with any ontology?
Sure, if you define work as in it can be applied, yes.
No, you
gain knowledge.
You did it more than once. I heard it. Other people heard it. You said your epistemology can work any ontology. Do you recall?
Yes, because that's in the context of idealism, dualism, or
epistemology. Is it your epistemology? Would it be applicable or functional in a world where God exists and He creates a world where man cannot know anything?
Yes.
How could you know something if God purposed that we couldn't know something?
An epistemology isn't knowing anything. An epistemology is a method.
Epistemology is the theory of knowledge.
Right, and the theory of knowledge can work whether or not you know anything.
Could there be a knowledge, conceptual or practical otherwise, if God created a world where that couldn't exist?
No, but that wasn't your claim.
Okay, stop right there. Is that an ontology?
No.
Yes, it is. You see what a fucking liar you are? You don't have to believe that it's real.
Incorrect.
Listen, no, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Ontology will be a putative.
It's not putative. No, you need to learn what that word means.
The nature of being a putative stated as though it's the case. Okay, so ontology would be okay. Get out of here. You're such.
You're so afraid of me. You can't even let me finish.
No, I'm not afraid. You're just unsufferable.
So afraid.
I mean, there's only how much human patience I can have.
Stop being such a bitch, bro.
Okay. No, I'm not a bitch because I can't deal with a fake it.
Immediately wrecked.
He actually just said. Okay, so he actually said that you could have a theory of knowledge in an ontology where God exists, where God purposes that there couldn't be a working theory of knowledge or its applicability. But then he says that a concept of where God is and He creates a world, that's not an ontology. That's not a. Does everybody see how psychotic this is? You don't have to believe that the putative ontology is real. Okay? He says it could work with any ontology. Well, when it means any putative ontology. Okay? Because there only can be one composite worldview or ontology that's actual. But he says his theory of knowledge works with any ontology.
That's how abstract objects work. They
really
literally work at all possible
So
worlds.
It can work in an ontology where God creates a world where man cannot know anything, including a theory of knowledge. How would his epistemology function in that world where it's prohibited by God in that ontology? If
theories of knowledge don't require that you know them, like that's how.
You gotta love it, Parakeet. Fake it till you make it was just spot on. Okay, old rabbit, go ahead, sir.
Hello. So how can we posit a mind that's spaceless and timeless if all instances of minds are in space and time? Thanks.
Okay, I don't hold to God, sir. Would you like to argue that to be plausible or reasonable that he would have to be posited as timeless?
Sorry?
Yeah, I don't hold to the timelessness of God. I used to, I don't anymore.
Oh, okay. All good.
Yeah, I now hold to the identification view of time, that time is identified with a natured entity that is the ontological grounds of one or more moments. And that natured entity is God himself. Life of God represents the first moment. Then when he wills, he wills into existence subsequent moments. Okay? A lot of people have the relational view of time, that time is a relation between events. Okay? Or it's a relation between a cause and an effect. Okay? That view has a problem, because then the first, prior to the second state, would be in a timeless condition, because there would be no relation. Okay, so if people say that causation requires time, how would the first state create in a timeless state? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Challenge the existence of God or the Christian God, just flash your microphone. We'll bring you on. And as long as you disagree like a mature adult and just don't blather on like fake it till you make it, you know.
What was the max words I got to? I think like 6 before you came interrupted and muted. Does that count as blathering? Is that a monologue?
So here's the deal with fake it till you make it. He wants to claim that he knows what's ultimate. Well, what's ultimate is, but wait a minute. A plurality of things cannot be ultimate.
Sure, okay? Can.
Because an abstraction can't stand in causal relations.
Things
so
can
if
be
you
a
have two or more things
that be an abstraction. The abstraction
that
simply
are
describes
say,
you're an idiot.
Or are self-contained and absolute, excuse me, then if you have two or more things that are absolute, then they're discrete from each other, independent, then neither one of them can be. If you group them together, an abstraction cannot stand in causal relations. So they would have to be concretely unified by something, and you would then have to say that whatever the natured entity that is the concrete unifier in conjunction with the two or more absolute would then impose what is. But the question is, how could he even know that?
Existence isn't the property.
We're trying to take the cosmos, the universe, reality, the set of all real things, so that it excludes where God is no longer indispensable. He's no longer, what's the word? I'm tired. What was it? Exclusive and indispensable. That's it, right? So, but you see, an abstraction, which would be a set, cannot be ultimate, right? So when he says everything dictates everything, how does an abstraction?
Is God a set?
The set of
yes. Is God ultimate?
Does an abstraction?
Yes. Oh, a set can be ultimate. Idiot.
And how could he know? Well, what does he say? Well, logic dictates it's necessary. Well, what logic?
Logic is a description.
Now,
idiot.
He's in an open system. How does he know what is singularly fundamental and absolute? Well, the answer is he doesn't, because he says there's a plurality of states, but it's a group that does it together. But the group is an abstraction, because the group itself is not concrete. Only the individual members are concrete.
The label of the
anyway,
group
I could go on. It just makes my head want to explode, the stupidity that we hear. But fake it till you make it. Okay, anyone want to raise your hands? Let's see. You got to flash your headset if you want to talk. Okay, go ahead, sir. At the bottom, darned. Go ahead, darned. Go ahead, Shy. Go ahead, Shy. All right, you're back on mute. Go ahead, Sue. Go ahead.
You said earlier that I was assuming that God did not exist. So my first question is, are you assuming that God exists?
Back off your microphone. You're too close to your mic source.
Sorry. Is this better? Okay, I'm assuming this is better. Are you assuming that God exists, or are you coming from a neutral assumption of we don't know if God exists?
Yeah, now you're a little too weak. That's better. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Are you assuming that God exists, or are you coming from a neutral perspective of we don't know?
Am I assuming God exists? Well, what do you mean by assume?
In the same way that you said earlier that I assume God doesn't.
No, I am assuming the God's self-disclosure of himself. Hold on a second, I gotta switch my headset. Go ahead.
Yeah, you said you are assuming God's self-disclosure of himself.
I don't use the word assume. I accept God through creation.
Okay, but how is that different from saying that I accept the universe
I'm having
without God?
Go ahead. Trying to understand you.
I'm sorry, how is that different from saying that I accept the universe without God? How is how
I can't understand you. Yeah, I can only understand part of what you say.
Okay, one more try. Normally, the assumption would be that you would assume that or you would need more evidence for the positive claim than the negative claim.
When you say assumption, do you mean accepting something without warrant or basis?
I mean accepting something by default, without as a default position before looking at the evidence. What do we assume if there's no evidence?
No, well, I don't hold in the Christian world that even our immediate self, once we reach a certain level of logical development, will that self-consciousness, in order for it to be a natured entity, will either have to indicate God or not. If it indicates God, then that natured entity, which is our self-consciousness, can be instantiated as being a concrete object. But if you don't do that, then your self-consciousness, what would it mean? What would dictate what it is? Well, the answer is there won't be anything unless you want to fake it till you make it, like T-Jump, where you just bullshit your way along.
I guess what I don't understand is how what you are doing is different. Because you can't. To me, it sounds like you're saying just. Like,
I'm really having trouble understanding you because of your mic and your accent.
I'm sorry.
I know it's not your fault. I got Apple EarPod Pros. The sound quality is phenomenal on these things.
Okay. Well, if you don't understand me, maybe you want to take another question.
Just try again. to speak a little slower.
Okay. So to me, it sounds like you are assuming that God exists as the sort of starting point.
I am accepting and adopting that God exists because of the things that I come into contact with are revelatory and indicative of God by his purpose. And I can know this because they are actual things, okay? Because it would be the mind of God would be that which instantiates them as being a natured entity. The opposite or the rejection of that would be nothing these things, natured entities, our self-consciousness, the tree outside your window, wouldn't be revelatory indicative of anything as to why it exists, either externally or internally. Would be a brute fact. It would be unintelligible. There's nothing that words the object that the alleged object in question is not indicative of why it exists internally or externally. It's meaningless.
It would exist because of the events that caused it to exist. It would exist.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. The tree outside your window, the rock on the side of the road, do you accept that they, by necessity, indicate and reveal God by his purpose? Accept that?
No.
Okay. Now, in the God world, things will possess actuality as concrete objects or a natured entity because they derive from the mind of God. God imposes and sustains what they are, and the actuality and intelligibility comes from the mind of God, making it what it is. So in that framework scenario, things are only what they are, and possibility of any kind, virtue of deriving and depending upon the mind of God. So if the rock on the side of the road is not indicative of revelatory of God, okay, then you're going to be taking the position that they possess actuality and intelligibility in virtue of either themselves or itself, or in virtue of something that is ultimate or the eternal. Do you understand your option there?
I would say that as we perceive them, they're intelligent.
No, listen to me. If you don't accept that they reveal God because they couldn't, because in order to be a natured entity, God would have to impose it. If you reject that notion, then you're going to have to explain how it is a natured entity, either, and it has accompanying intelligibility, either in virtue of itself or in something external to it that is ultimate. So what we have is here a dichotomous situation. Either you will reckon that the facts are creaturely, they indicate and reveal God by his purpose, and hence they're creaturely, and they could only possess ontology and intelligibility because they derive from the mind of God, and God creates them and makes them to reveal him, or you don't accept that. Now, if you don't accept that, since you don't accept that, explain to me what provides for the actuality of what anything is, of the rock. Is it because the rock is the rock eternal?
No, the rock is not eternal.
Okay. So the rock can't explain itself. So the rock's ontology, the rock's natured entity, is derivative then, right?
I mean, as we express it, or as we
either the rock's actuality is non-derivative or derivative, right?
Well, the rock, as we perceive it.
Look. I asked you a yes or no question. Either the rock's actuality is in virtue of itself alone, or the rock's actuality is derivative.
I mean,
do you accept that? Do you accept that?
I don't really accept that. I would say that yes, there is something.
Okay, good. So then the exists for no identifiable reason, internally or externally. Is that your position?
No, the rock is there because of the events that brought the rock there. It is there because...
The rock is there because...
I'm sorry.
Does the rock, is it self-contained, absolute, and unconditionally non-dependent?
Not as we perceive it. As we perceive it, it is dependent on our mind. And
all right, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to. I can barely understand you. Okay. Plus, you're not properly responding to my question, so we're just gonna have to move on. Next. No, I'm sorry. It's want to end the accent. I don't mean any disrespect to you. Okay, because you've been very cordial, and I appreciate that.
I understand. Thank you.
I only insult people when they have it coming. Okay, so do we have any unbelievers who would like to explain why it's reasonable not to believe in God? Wow. Look at that. Not one. Look at that. Dad.
If you mute them
Brandon.
all, apparently they aren't any.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Brandon?
From the highest, you can see me as I asked me. I ain't never been a cloud.
That person needs to lay off the drugs. Go ahead, misanthropic person.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so why is it reasonable to believe in God? Well, because it's the default position of basically...
microphone, it's overly modulated.
Sorry?
Off your microphone a bit.
Sorry, you keep cutting out.
Much better, thank you. Go ahead.
It's reasonable to believe in God because it's the default position. Most people are not born believing in God. You are taught to believe in God.
I'm not understanding your point.
Well, I mean, you're presupposing I have to
No, I asked a question. What was my question, sir?
Why is it reasonable to not believe in God?
That's correct.
I just explained it to you.
That was just a mess.
It made perfect sense. It's not the default
position. Let's rephrase it for you.
Have more.
Let's rephrase it so that you can understand it. In your view, God does not exist because
that's how reality is.
Boom! Love it.
That's how everything is. So
reality.
The set of all real things.
There are two possibilities.
Hold on, may I finish? Listen to me. You said that's the way it is. Well, what if I were to say to you, well, God is because that's just the way it is? Would you accept that?
I'd say you'd have to provide an argument for that.
And do you have to provide an argument for your position?
Well, it's simpler to say there is no God than there is a God.
Why is that simpler?
Because a God, you'd have to explain all of these other things about the origin of the universe. What role does God have?
Hold on a second. So are you employing Occam's razor?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is that when we have two equally explanatory hypotheses, the one that has fewer assumptions is to be preferred?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you consider the world and the not God world equally have equal explanatory power?
No.
Well, then you can't apply Occam's razor then.
Why not?
because Occam's razor has to do with two hypotheses that have equal explanatory power. It's a heuristic device, a type of
that's incorrect. That is
that
not
when
the
you
only
have two
criterion that it applies
equally
to.
explanatory hypotheses, the one that has fewer assumptions is preferred. It doesn't necessitate that it's true. This is just a principle, a rule of thumb. It's a heuristic device.
Heuristic
It's not
is how you pronounce
determinative.
that, kiddo.
It's not determinative.
Well,
Okay.
how do you determine the likelihood of if God exists or not? It's immeasurable.
Well, first of all, I'll be glad to discuss that with you momentarily. I don't know if you've heard me give my rationale for God, which I will, but your mission, should you choose to do it, Mr. Phelps, is to explain to me why it's reasonable to believe that God does not exist. So far, when you deployed Occam's razor, it doesn't apply.
I'd say it's just as reasonable to believe that as
Listen to me. The only we're going to get to deploy Occam's razor is to say that the God and the not God world have explanatory power, but that one of them has fewer assumptions and is preferred. Is that your position?
Well, I don't know exactly what definition of Occam's razor you just provided me, if that's accurate
Occam's
or not.
razor is that when you have two explanatory
He's correct. That is not the correct definition.
Two equally explanatory?
Equally explanatory, yeah.
Why is that necessary? Why is one is simpler than...
That's Occam's razor.
No, it's not.
How do you know if it's equally explanatory?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because you could have two hypotheses. One is simpler, one is more complex. But the complex one could have
but isn't this a false dichotomy?
Okay, hold on a second. Was I just explaining something to you?
Yeah, you were.
Well, did I finish?
No, I was just giving commentary.
Okay. If one of them, if greater explanatory power, then Occam's razor doesn't apply. Okay?
Yeah, it does.
Parsimony applies when you have two hypotheses that have equal explanatory power. Now, would you like to say that the God world and the not God world have equal explanatory power? And then apply Occam's razor to that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how does naturalism or how is it okay?
How is it coherent?
In order for it to have explanatory power, it must have coherence.
Nope.
So
Why
is
is it
there
not
some?
coherent?
Well, because what you have a plurality of things, none of which are as being concretely unified, and the actual particulars themselves are brute. There's nothing that is identified either internally or externally as to why they exist. And if all the particulars are brute, they don't mean anything. So how does the set of all particulars, each of which that don't mean anything, because there's nothing identifiable or defensible that dictates externally or internally what they are, it has zero explanatory power. Okay? So in your naturalism, is it a set of an almost innumerable number of particulars?
What particulars? What do you mean?
Yeah. Are there two or more concrete things that just simply exist without deriving from God?
Yes.
Now, these two or more things, why do each of the discrete states exist? Do they exist because they're absolute within themselves, or they derive as ultimately absolute?
I don't need to answer that question. I think that's an unknowable thing.
No, you do need to answer the question, because if you're going to say that the group, the set of the members of the plurality are intelligible, then intelligibility is going to be derived by each of the parts being intelligible in junction with each other. If each member of the set is unintelligible, how is the grouping of the set of unintelligible parts going to be intelligible?
Because they're all unified under one thing, and that's reality.
Okay,
reality.
No, that would be an abstraction, okay? Abstractions do not stand in causal relations. Is there something that concretely unifies the particulars?
Yes.
What is that?
Reality.
The fundamental nature of the universe.
No, yeah. Look, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? Okay, is that one concrete thing?
Yeah.
What is it? What is that?
Quantum field.
The fundamental nature of the universe.
Yeah, what is that? Is the fundamental nature of the universe God?
No.
Maybe you don't know that.
No. Oh, so then you don't know what the fundamental nature of the universe is, do you?
Yes. Neither do you.
And how do you know that?
Because it's unknowable.
Okay. And so you know that it's knowable?
Quantum fields.
Yes.
Okay.
Quantum fields.
Do you have any awareness of how convoluted what you're saying is? If you say it's unknowable, okay, is that a knowledge statement?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know it's unknowable?
Because there's no way to measure anything related to it.
What does that even mean?
It means you can't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, okay. What you're saying is, I can't know if it's true or not. So what you're saying is around you are indeterminate in terms, correct?
What?
Are all the things around you and me indeterminate relative to God?
Maybe.
No, you said it's unknowable. Either all the things around of us are determinative and indicate
because it's
God,
unknowable doesn't mean it's
okay. All right. Listen to me. I don't want to be mean to you. You simply don't know what you're talking. You're faking it till you make it. Are you related to fake it till you make it? T-Jump?
No.
Okay. All right. Do you aspire to be like him someday?
No, I don't really know that much about him.
Oh, okay. So, but you're faking it till you make it. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on because I don't want to be mean to you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Do we have any intelligent atheists or unbelievers who would like to defend that unbelief in God reasonable? You want to do it, you have to continue flashing your headset, okay, for me to see it. All right, go ahead, agnostic.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so do you believe the statement that God exists to be a propositional claim?
Sure.
The statement is truth apt, correct?
I didn't hear you.
The statement that God exists is truth apt, right?
I think it's true, yeah.
True.
Can you prove that to me?
Can I prove to it? Yeah. God exists because the world reveals him. Otherwise, the world wouldn't mean anything.
How do you know the world reveals him?
Excuse me?
How do you know the world reveals him?
Because these are natured entities or concrete things that will either be indicative and reveal God by his purpose or not. If they reveal God by his purpose, then they would be concrete objects or natured entities mind, and therefore we could have apprehension of its actuality and intelligibility. Right? Now, if you reject that notion,
down for me?
Yeah, either the rock outside and the tree outside, either it is indicative and revelatory of God by his purpose in some way that he purposed and planned, Okay. Or it does not. If they do God, then they possess their actuality and intelligibility derivative of the mind of God. So it would be the mind of God that institutes its actuality and intelligibility. If you reject that notion, okay, then what you're going to have are alleged concrete entities that cannot be explain themselves either internally or externally. So it's a reductio. Okay? You know what a reductio is?
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't believe that the rock or anything else of God and revelatory of God's purpose, right? So do you believe then that the rock is indicative and revelatory of something else that's ultimate that's not God?
Yes.
What would that be?
The physical constant, as well as the laws of logic.
Okay. Do laws of logic stand in causal relations?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Do you don't know what cause and effect is?
I know what that means, but I don't know what the statement you just said means.
Do laws of logic produce cause and effect sequences?
No, they determine what happens.
No, that you just contradicted yourself. You said no, but they determine what happens. You just contradicted yourself.
Well, they don't cause what happens. They
Okay.
determine what can or cannot happen.
No. How does the law of identity determine what events can take place?
Because with if the law of identity is true, then something cannot not be itself. So it's determining that something
That
cannot be
doesn't.
itself.
Yeah. How does the principle of identity determine what sequencing of events are?
Your mic cut out.
I said, how does the law of identity dictate any causal connections?
Well, it doesn't.
Okay, good. Now you've contradicted yourself.
It's not causing what is.
Okay.
It simply is.
Yeah. So listen to me. You're going to have to drop the laws of logic as causal entities. Okay. So now you're talking about the fundamental constants. Okay. So what you're saying is there a plurality of discrete and independent states collectively that dictate all discrete concrete objects?
You're gonna have to dumb that down for me.
Okay. You said of nature, right?
Your mic cut out.
You said the cosmological constants dictate all instances, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did Stephen Hawking say at the Big Bang all physics breaks down?
I think he was lying.
You think he was lying? Oh, okay, good. Okay. So explain to me, are each of these discrete states that you call the cosmological constants, are they absolute within themselves?
Does that mean they can't be false?
No, it means that they're self-contained, unconditionally non-dependent, and non.
Yes, these things are unconditionally non-independent.
And how did you determine that each of these discrete states are absolute within themselves and eternal?
Science.
Science. Yeah.
I'm waiting. How did you determine that?
Science.
Science.
I didn't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I said science.
That's not informative.
What do you not understand?
Boom.
I'm still waiting for you to explain.
Can you hear me? You're lagging or something? What's going on?
Yeah. Agnostic. Do you think I'm stupid?
Yes.
I'd hope not.
Do you think I don't know what you're doing?
What do you mean?
Okay. Do it one more time. Play dumb. And you'll be done. Okay. Because I don't appreciate when people try to play dumb. Okay.
Mike's cutting out.
I don't appreciate when you're playing dumb. Explain to me how you know that any discrete state, okay, is unconditionally non-dependent and eternal. How could you know that?
the scientific method.
That's right.
How would you, is it deception?
Your mic cut out again.
Does science operate through induction?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, we're done. Okay, you're an idiot. Thank you for wasting my time. Okay. He doesn't know what that is, but he knows there's no God. Well, guess what? You do know there's a God. You just don't want there to be a God. But I got some good or bad news. When your heart stops, you're going to get boots, but then it's going to be too, unless you repent. Okay? Unless you turn.
Repent or perish.
You're going to spend eternity. Okay? And it is because of your arrogance and your pride in your belief that your mental autonomy is coherent, actual, and intelligible, but it's indefensible. Okay? So, it's gonna be a Burger King world. Have it your way.
Burger King.
You don't want to praise God. You don't want to thank Him. You don't want to come to Him to salvation. He's going to give you what you want, and that's going to be eternal damnation. Okay. If anyone else wants to step up the plate and to me why it's reasonable that not to believe God of the Bible, just flash your headset at the bottom of your screen and keep doing it so I can see it. We can't seem to find any really intelligent atheists other than people who are playing dumb and obtuse and faking it till they make it. Okay, God of Trans, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
And
hello?
I'm listening.
Okay, I just want to make sure you could hear me before I started. So I am a former Christian turned atheist, turned a while ago at this point. And I just wanted to see what would happen because I've been hearing you talking to all these people. I don't think you're making that good of arguments.
Bound.
For one thing, you just ended that argument with that one person, I don't know their name. Where
can you hold on? Can you get a little closer to your microphone? It's a bit loud, but it's echoey.
It's my default laptop microphone. Is that any better?
That's a little better. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't think you made that good of an argument with that. In the end there, after they had already left.
What do I care that you don't say? Do you have a defeater?
Do I have a defeater to your argument? Yeah. Well, I was about to bring that up. I was about to basically turn your little Pascal's wager back on you and basically say,
"Oh no! That's not Pascal's wager. That's the gospel of Jesus Christ."
I'm talking about
the gospel.
I'm talking about how
you weren't aware that I was explaining Jesus Christ.
No, at the end of your argument, after you had already kicked him out, you said something that basically akin to, once you die, you're going to go to hell and you'll know it. But
that's not Pascal's wager. That's a.
Well, what if a different gospel?
It's a binary choice. Okay.
No, it's not. That's what Pascal's wager says it is, but they're wrong.
Pascal's wager is binary, and the gospel binary situation: repent and turn to Christ as your Savior, or you will face the due punishment of your sin. They're both binary, but that doesn't mean they're the same.
Well, what if that's wrong? What if let's say, for example, the God of Islam is correct?
Here's the problem. Okay, well, that's a worldview body double that you're throwing out because you're not a Muslim, are you?
It's irrelevant. I am presenting a possibility.
Well, if you're going to oppose the indispensability and the it's late. I'm tired. I'm trying to remember the other word tonight. Exclusiveness of the Christian worldview. Then you're going to have to put forth your worldview not only as true, but as a the Christian worldview. You can't put on the table another worldview that's not your own, because from your perspective, that's false. Now, you said, what if it's wrong? Well, it can't be, because the Christian worldview, in terms of the combined character set of the Christian God, are collective attributes without which right, wrong, true, and false, and intelligibility, without that, these things couldn't be instantiated. So the Christian worldview can't be false.
What if I'd argue your morality is false, and therefore,
you won't be able to have a metaphysic that can instantiate in falsehood. What in your worldview is going to instantiate truth, human reason, and intelligibility? What is that if not the God of the Bible?
Utilitarianism. That's my.
Yeah, I mean,
moral...
really. So utilitarianism is, well, it's just the way things work. Okay. Now here's the problem. Do you know how things work?
It's not just how things work. It's a question of what choice is going to create the least suffering and the most pleasure.
You see what you're doing right now. You're rabbit trailing. You're trying to channel Sarah's. That doesn't get you to atheism.
You say it produces the least suffering. That presupposes you know how things work.
Yeah. So what I'm asking you is this. Okay. Well, you say, well, what if it's false? Well, it can't be false, because the Christian worldview, in terms of the attribute set of God and the fundamental parameters which he has imposed, right, are the very grounds for truth, reason, falsity, and intelligibility. Now, if you don't accept that, then you're going to have to accept how truth and reason are apprehendable. Can you do that?
I have a sorry, I do have like a little bit of a stutter and I have ADHD, so yeah.
You know what? That is not a problem. Okay, as long as you're being cordial and thoughtful and transparent, whether I agree with you or not, that's not a problem.
Okay. Perfect then.
Look, I stutter sometimes. It's no big deal. Think about it.
Thank you. And also, just so you know, she pronouns and everything, if you refer to me later on or whatever. And okay, so
that will not be happening. I don't capitulate to people's delusions, but that's another subject. So we'll go on.
Then call me they. And well, my worldview about where knowledge comes from is just how we experience. This is how we experience the world.
No, you're not understanding the issue. Okay. What fundamentally dictates all instances of what is, can be, and cannot be, including the capacity that we can have knowledge and the appropriation of it? Is there one singular concrete thing that dictates all instances?
No, I don't. I think I know what you're saying.
So there's nothing in control of all of the plurality of events. There's nothing simply dictating that. So you're in a world that is where chance is ultimate rather than God is ultimate.
Nothing conscious. No, the only thing that even comes.
No, did you understand what I just said?
I think so.
Either you're going to accept that God is, that he's revealed himself in creation and through human history through the person of Jesus Christ, and he is the supreme being, the creator and ultimate, and he is the one.
He said nothing conscious, so he said
world.
no.
Okay.
He said not God. He literally said that. Pull your hat out of your ass.
Why is your microphone open? Fake it till you make it.
Because I crushed you.
How did he get his microphone open? How'd that happen?
They're right, though. I did say nothing conscious.
Boom! Oh,
okay.
wrecked. Oh,
okay.
Wrecked.
Now,
oh.
let's go back a bit for that unnecessary fake it till you make it commercial. And you can get it at your local B. Dalton's or Amazon. Epistemology works in all ontologies. Okay, so you reject the notion that God institutes all, and he also does not exist and therefore doesn't impose whatever you among the diversity of things. Tell me what does impose that?
Basically our destiny and stuff is we don't have a destiny. For lack of a better term,
Tiny, Des Tiny is a YouTuber. He's not.
Oh, Destiny's
Okay.
a YouTuber. That's funny. You're funny.
Yeah. So is something that is singular and is concrete that imposes all instance of particularity, imposes and sustains whether correlativeness or unity things. Does such a thing?
You're using really weird big words right now. I'm going to assume that.
Okay. All right. All right. That's fine. I'll try to dumb it down. Okay.
Can I try to dumb it down so I can?
Yeah.
So let me know if I'm getting this correctly. You're basically asking me what causes the events of the world, right?
They're just bullshit.
There is nothing above the universe, I guess.
No. I want to know ultimate.
What is ultimate? I guess just
by ultimate. I'm asking you, what is singularly concrete in a singular abstraction that will dictate of what is, can be, cannot be?
Nothing.
Viable and defense.
Nothing except for the laws of our universe, and that only is determined for our universe, and there might be other universes. So nothing.
So what you're appealing to is a plurality of states, each with each other and not concretely unified, dictating all instances.
I think it's most likely that there is more than there is many.
What's likely? No, sir. I'm not asking you what is most. Asking you, since you reject God as your creator.
Yes.
So what it is that institutes and imposes the any particular or discrete state of affairs and any unity among the diversity of things.
So
what imposes that?
Nothing imposes anything. It's just all
so
chemical reactions and electricity.
Okay, no, yeah, you're not. So the rock outside your window is either eternal and absolute with itself. It's self-contained, right? Meaning it would be unconditionally non-dependent and non-derivative, and it needs no extrinsic or external explanation for why it is as a concrete entity. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or the rock is not, as we say, it is not self-contained. It's not absolute in and of itself. And the actuality is derivative of something else that is fundamentally eternal and absolute. Okay? So, either because it's self-contained and non-derivative, or the rock. So is the rock derivative or non-derivative?
Our universe is self-contained.
No, I'm asking you about the rock. Okay? Is the rock absolute in and of itself? Is it eternal?
A rock will eventually be broken down into its particulate particles whenever the sun
is a rock eternal, non-derivative?
I don't know.
Is there anything that is a discrete entity that is eternal?
The universe.
No, that's an abstraction. That's a conceptual set of a plurality of things.
Can you justify that?
No, it's definitional.
I think the universe is factual.
Okay.
Like we know it exists.
No. Okay, all right. This is going over your head. Okay. Is the universe one concrete thing that has no? It's not divisible. That it's one concrete thing, and there are no internal discrete states, or
the universe just
a
exists.
single term that is a mental conception grouping two or more discrete concrete things.
It's just one. It's just a thing that it's just the thing that our solar system and stuff is contained within our galaxy.
Is it one concrete thing?
It's kind of like a It's just all space where our laws of physics.
So you're just making this up as you go along, right?
Not really. It's just our laws. Part of space. Hold
on a second. How do you know that this is universal?
Our laws of physics?
Yeah.
Because from what we have observed, everything we have seen has followed our laws of physics.
That's begging the question. Leonard Susskind is an internationally physicist. Okay. He stated that physics, for all we know, could operate entirely different from what we experience here. So you're saying is physics everywhere is just like where you are. That's begging the question.
I think he's wrong.
Oh, okay. Now, in order to be wrong, is there an ultimate truth from which all derive so that you can know certain statements are wrong?
So
is there an ultimate truth?
Is there an ultimate truth? As in, is there a truth to the universe? Yes.
There is
scientific facts to the universe.
Okay, all right, we're done. You're not. This is going over your head. You just you're not understanding.
Your words going under that you think you're over my head.
What is it? What is it? The ultimate truth from which all other truth statements derive and depend.
What is the ultimate truth statement from where all other truth statements derive and depend?
Okay.
There is. I guess just we observe facts of the universe and we determine our facts from there.
Okay. Do you have any idea how clueless you are?
Clueless? That's a new word for me.
Have clueless.
Clueless. No, I am not clueless. Do you know how clueless you are?
Have you observed all the facts of the universe?
I have read about quite a few, and I have observed some myself, but not all of them.
Okay. Has anybody individually or collectively observed all the facts of the universe?
Not yet.
Then how do you know what all the facts of the universe are?
You don't. I'm not going to claim that.
So now you contradicted yourself.
No, I'm not going to claim. I'm going to claim that.
Okay. All right. Listen, you're a deeply deluded individual.
Says you.
On several levels. Okay? Now,
my dude, you're just projecting. You're just projecting.
Why are you calling me a dude? Why are you bigoted?
I use the word dude gender neutrally.
Well, I consider that bigoted when you call me dude.
Why? It is just a term.
Because I identified as a dudette at the moment, so I consider you a bigot.
Dude is a gender neutral term.
Please not refer to me as a dude. Please identify me by the terms and concepts that I identify with, okay?
And I know what you're doing here. And if you want to
aren't you going to respect the terms that I identify with?
Not if you're lying about them, and you are. You're just doing it to tease me.
That you're not lying and self-delete the terms that you want to apply.
You're doing it to tease me. That's the difference.
How do I know that you aren't on a lifeline trip of just being a narcissist person who fantasizes that you want to be a woman and you're just goofing on me and everybody else? How do I know you're not doing that? Well, that's what you tell me. I can't read your mind.
No, I don't. No, here's the thing. Here's the difference.
Would you please not call me dude? Would you call me dude?
Okay, bro.
Okay.
Here's the difference.
No. Please. I don't identify as being a bro at the moment. Please stop being, trans dudette. Okay. All right. I'm not a bro, and I'm not a dudette. Okay.
You are terrible at this. You're terrible at this, my dude. You just said you're not a dudette, so my dude.
I do have to tell you though, at times I'm dude and dudette fluid. At any given moment when I'm identifying.
You are terrible.
What you need to do is
why do you think
what you need to do is you need to ask of me how I identify at any given moment so that you're not bigoted.
I know real life gender fluid people. You're just being cringe right now.
Okay. Well, why can't I identify as not being cringe. So there you go.
Well, that's not. Oh, did you know that gender is a social construct?
Would you? Okay.
Did you know that gender is a social construct?
Do you know who John Money is?
Yes, I do, and I know that he is a child abuser who did not actually, who has nothing to do with our movement.
Do you understand that historically the concept that gender is a social construct historically came from him?
That's a lie. It came from sociology.
Let's get back to the real issue here, okay? You need to refer to me by the way that I identify as, otherwise you're a bigot.
Do you identify as that way? I don't believe you because earlier.
Would you please?
Earlier,
I'm telling you how I identified at the particular moment.
Then can you explain?
All I asked you to do, was not identify me as a dude when I told you at one particular time I'm identifying as a dudette.
Okay, if you actually mean that, Mr. Old Man Darth Dawkins.
Impolite. Okay, please let me finish. I don't want to have to mute you. You are deliberately not showing deference to how I identify myself as, aren't you?
No, not at all. I am.
So you are showing deference to how I identify myself?
I do not. I am saying that.
Did I ask you not to call me a dude?
I am saying that.
Did I ask you not to call me a dude?
Can you let me talk?
Did I ask you not to call me a dude?
Can you let me talk? Okay. Earlier,
listen to me. If you're not going to respond to me, I will move on to somebody else because you are being socially impolite and you're being bigoted against how I identify as.
You are being bigoted about how I identify as.
How have I been bigoted toward you?
Earlier I asked you to call me by my preferred pronouns, and you said, no, I will not be going on that mentally ill stuff.
Right. Okay. Well, I consider that mentally ill. Do you consider me mentally ill?
Yes. Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
But regardless.
So do you consider me mentally ill because that you are speaking to me and about me in a way that I don't identify as?
Not for that reason, no.
Am I mentally ill because I'm upset? Because you're not speaking to me by the way I identify?
No.
Okay, but I think you are.
Okay, and
in fact, and more specifically, I think you're spiritual because you're in an age where you're into narcissism, and because narcissism entails that you want to fantasize that you are something that you are not, which is a delusion. How about I identify as a little boy? Is that okay with you?
Social constructs, my dude.
What if I identify as a 13-year-old girl? Is that okay with you?
Do you know what a social construct is?
Excuse me. What if I identify as being 5 foot 13-year-old little girl?
Do you know what a social construct is?
My identification with that? No, you won't. Okay, we're done.
Do you know what a social construct is? Do you know what a social construct?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Professing to be wise, they became fools. Their foolish hearts were darkened, and they turned and they worshiped the creation rather than the Creator. Okay. Okay. Flash their headset. Explain to me why it's reasonable. I apologize for prolonging that. I mean, I should have its misery a long time ago, given the fact that this person was absolutely clueless. Okay. So my apologies to the people listening. I know that was torture. Okay. Well, it seems that the lockdown of the microphone stopped the heckling. How about that? Isn't that great? Okay. Any other unbelievers here who know why unbelief in God is reasonable and that it's unreasonable to believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior? Because you got some splaining to do. Okay. Well, I can keep on ranting if you want. What did Captain America say? I can do this all day. Okay. Find any atheist with levels of testosterone to talk to. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a momentary break to get something to drink.
Well, I need to get to bed. I got to wake up for a show at like 8:30 in the morning. So, good night, guys. I think we owned
What are you drinking?
enough for the day. Peace out.